Hello, YouTube. We're back again with OWPerks.com, a community-made website where people vote for the perks they take on each hero. Now, some perks got changed this season, some didn't, so a lot of these may be similar to previous seasons, or maybe the meta has shifted for some. Last time we did this video on this channel, it was like over an hour. I'll try to speed through it as much as possible, elaborate on the heroes that I do play with some insight where possible, but if not, leave some of your insight in the comments below. If some perks have like a disproportionate amount of people taking it, I will say as a disclaimer, I think perks as a design need to be situationally good for both and not have too big of a swing. If there's a 100-0 perk, that one needs to be reworked. You either nerf that one perk or bring the power level of the other one or completely just change it. I think perks should be on a game-by-game basis. With that being said, let's see what the community has voted along with what I think people should be taking just based on my personal experience, and your experience and mileage may vary. So again, OWPerks.com, it is a community website. So let's see what people are up to. So D.Mon, the newest addition to the roster this season. This is live on Twitch, by the way. Say hi, guys. Everybody here is typing their favorite emote. There is a dancing yellow duck there. That's right, if you're never on Twitch. Those emotes exist, along with random faces of me and kitty cats, and people saying hi. Okay, D.Mon. First of all, we did see D.Mon a week in after her release. One hotfix patch and another patch later, buffing the recovery times and the animations, and now I would say she is firmly pretty good at this current juncture. We saw some playtime with her in the Overwatch World Cup literally yesterday on Wednesday, August 19th. And I can tell you what perks that they took. And I'm looking at this distribution of people who have been voting for D.Mon. I will say off the top, the fact that both the minor and major are at 50% each is kind of crazy. That is a really good distribution. At first glance, the perks are pretty well designed where it really is a choice between, you know, what is given to you in the game. You can take Beast Within, where you heal your shield if you're in a brawl matchup, or you could take one for mobility if like you can't swing at anything based on the comp you're playing against. And then that major perk where if you're hitting clumps and meleeing again, you can get some lifesteal. It is quite a bit of lifesteal. It's 105 HP per target. If you hit 2, it's 210. 3, it's 315, minus the 15% healing reduction passive, but it's still quite a chunky bit of heal, especially if you're in a brawl and you don't have much supports. And then of course the gun change. So with that being said, I will say I would probably take Beast Within more often than Mecha Mobility. 51 to 49 is a crazy even split. I would take Beast Within 90% of the time. And the reason why is because I would probably only pick D.Mon into matches that I can brawl. If I'm playing D.Mon into like a Wrecking Ball, Echo, Tracer, Cat, Kiriko on the other team, there is nothing for me to swing at and nothing for me to do. I'd probably just swap off the hero and not even get the choice to even use Mecha Mobility. I'd probably just not even play her altogether. I think D.Mon excels the best into some brawl matchups and like some really slow pokey heroes like Sigma. I think Sigma is D.Mon's best matchup by far. With that, you can just flash your shield. Every swing heals 40 health on the shield. We saw how Sigma's minor perk, Experimental Barrier, had to get nerfed so much. This is more consistent than Experimental Barrier. It is constantly healing your shield, and you end up being really tanky. At 750 HP with a big shield that's constantly being upkept into a brawly hero that can swing, that you can swing at, I would definitely take Beast Within majority of the time. That being said, Mecha Mobility lost value after the hotfix patch where they changed the propulsor fuel cost. Once they buffed the propulsor fuel cost to only cost 25% per second, the fact that you can use it for 4 seconds meant that this perk would only bump it up to about 5.8 seconds. 30% less of 25 is like 17.5. Over 100 divided by that, it's like a little over close to 6 seconds of movement. But honestly, with the current buff, the hotfix that they gave last week, 4 seconds is more than enough to chase regardless. You never really need this, and this is conditional with you holding the shield up. It doesn't come up that often. You don't even need that, to be honest with you. So anyways, the point being, I think Beast Within is a better overall perk based on the meta and the matchups you would play in. For the major, majority of people are taking Focus Fusion because it nulls one of the weaknesses you have, which is your gun having some, you know, it's a little bit of chip damage, but this gun is chunkier and it can be burstier, and burst damage can be a bit more harder for enemies to deal with. It makes them stop peeking. Instead of getting chipped away by the weaker gun, they take like 2 hit scan shots, especially if they're headshots. They have to like stop peeking. Great into some bad matchups like the echoes, the cats flying around. You can really chip them away and make them retreat. I like this one better, but that being said, I think Overstrike is slept a little bit if you are brawling. If they're running more Death Ball and you're constantly able to actually like swing away at a person, Overstrike is not bad as well. But I would probably take Focus Fusion a little bit more just to cover some of her weakness along with Beast Within for D.Mon, and that's that. All right, now let's speed through some of the other heroes so we get through this video in a reasonable time. So D.Va, extended boosters, no brainer. This one's just better. Probably redesign bunny power to make it something else to give D.Va some better choices. I think the major is good split between what people want and what they need. I actually think precision fusion's taken more often than people give credit for, especially after they nerfed not shield system, but they nerfed another part of the matrix in recent times. But in any case, if they have a lot of flying projectiles, shield system is really great if your job as D.Va is to just survive. But if you're just assassinating people and people are constantly out of position, precision fusion is totally fine too. Domina. Extended power, I take this on majority of maps right now. Efficient design, I don't know. I feel like if you're anchoring into a spot, you might not need this because you can hide and use cover in your shield pretty well. I think extended power gives you more overall power as a good general perk to take. Corporate retreat being added a couple seasons ago really allows you to play her on attack more often than just defense because you're able to like constantly move the shield. The worst is when you just plant your shield and you're stuck for what, the 14-second cooldown before you're able to move, especially when you're attacking and the enemies decide to kite you. Now you're just stuck without a shield for a long ass time. I think this is a fantastic perk. Disruptive detonation's mostly a defense, like play it on a defense side where you're anchored onto a point and they're coming into you. But corporate retreat's fantastic. Okay, Doomfist. Survival of the fittest definitely feels like is a 90% take. I've seen a lot of high level Dooms. I think most of them take this. Sometimes if they're greedy, they'll take 1-2, but like Doom's biggest problem is survival in the high levels, and they highly prioritize that. Take survival plus power matrix and you're good to go. This is a 100% take, by the way, not even 91. Survival of the fittest might be like an 80-20 depending on like how greedy you're feeling, but that's that. Hazard got his perks shifted a season and a half ago. Anarchic Zeal seems to be the 100% take. You never really need the extra spike guard energy because you're never holding that block for as long as you think, because most people will get out of the way from it. So I would take this 100% of the time, which means they should probably redo Reconstitution. And then now the major perk, they actually rebuffed explosive, what's it called, Bone Spur marks this season because everybody was still taking Deep Leap because of the range and the speed of the projection. Just allows you to be more mobile, so people are valuing this over the damage. They could probably rebuff this back to 40 explosive damage and people might consider this one again over Deep Leap, but right as it stands, like having the extra mobility is highly valued, and I agree with this at its current time. Hazard already has enough burst and lethality, doesn't really need the Bone Spurs unless this is like unanimously way stronger, but they nerfed it from 40 to 30 originally, and then they just buffed it this patch to have like less of your spikes in order to get the mark. But regardless, I think you still take Deep Leap. Junkrat Queen, there's too much CC in the game. I always just take Rampant Charge now. That being said, if there is a world where there's no CC on the team, I have taken Battle Shout before, but it's very easy for a single person on the enemy team to make one swap to make your next Queen ult useless, and it sucks to run into that situation. But usually at that point, I'd probably just swap off Queen if they run some really annoying stuff. So I still take Rampant Charge mostly. I'm back on the Savage Satiation grind. I usually take Savage Satiation now. There was a world where I used to take Willy Willy for a bit because of the burst to reliably one-shot people, but there's just so much healing. Yeah, I just take Savage Satiation. All right, next. Mauga. Pyromaniac, so good. Paired with Anran. Anran Mauga comps are insane. Being able to ignite them right away when you this is not during that's Firewalker I'm thinking. Pyromaniac is the one I'm thinking of here.
61 months, but I just
what is
need
this?
access to some.
Okay, hold on. I'm skipping that because I'm trying to do this. Thank you for the 61 months, capers. Okay, we have Pyromaniac being the most one. Igniting enemies with Incendiary. This is just for overall tankiness. You don't need the extra ammo. And then the major perk, Firewalker. As much as people want to take combat, what was this one called? Combat Medic? I don't even know what this one's called anymore. They just buffed this one because nobody was taking it because everyone's taking Firewalker. But the reason why is because when you initiate with Overrun and instantly igniting them, it synergizes with Pyromaniac and you instantly get a lot more overhealth, and they're burning right away and taking extra damage. So people take this over the extra health because he's already got enough sustain. That being said, there's probably a world where this buffed version, because it used to be like 90 something HP, now it's 128 extra overhealth if you build it up. Because it went from 3 temporary overhealth to 4. So maybe. Let me watch OWCS tonight, or Overwatch World Cup tonight, and see, because there's still Mauga being played a lot, and see if people are taking this one more often. But Firewalker was a unanimous choice before. Orisa. Mobile Fortification being taken 80% of the time is interesting. While I do agree with this, I think Defense Protocol is slept on. I actually take this one when I play the occasional Orisa. Because in solo queue, Orisa is a very resource heavy tank. Unless you've got a really good team with you who is like giving you tons of resources, you don't need it. But I found that like if I have my ultimate pretty soon, I can burn my spin, my fortify, get in close, take a shit ton of damage, then pop my ultimate. Popping your Terra Surge instantly gives you fortify, which gives you some durability. Then you just start regenning like crazy because most people just start running from you anyway. Then you're back to full health and you cycle again. This could be really good for if you need those meaningful team fight wipes where you can, you don't have any resources available on your team. I think this one's slept on. I don't think this should be as 83-17. This should probably be like 33-66 if I had to guess. Okay, now we have the new perk added where they just buffed the Javelin. Energy Javelin's knockback is increased by 25% and the wall impact damage increased by 15%. A lot of people enjoy having the spin instead of changing to the barrier. So like having a buffed Javelin is quite nice. 87% voted right now is a little disproportionate. There's still a lot of value into the shield, especially into comps that don't require you to spin in to initiate. Probably we could lower this, game by game situation. It's probably like a 70-30 split. You don't take the major perk on the horse. People used to not, but then they changed the other perk. So now this is just a raw buff to your Javelin. There's no reason not to take this. It's still news. People are probably experimenting, which is true, but it's no longer the case should you not do the no taking perk now. Like if you don't want barrier, just take this. It's just a straight buff to the spear. If you're not taking it now, you're throwing. Ramattra. Prolonged barrier being taken a bit more is pretty common, but that being said, I think Relentless Form is slept on as well. Eliminations extend the duration by 2 and then half duration gain during annihilation. I think they buff this. Maybe, if I'm not mistaken. But in any case, Big Shield seems to be popular here, along with your Void Surge being taken 75-25. That makes sense to me. Okay, Reinhardt, Crusader's Resolve. This is taken almost 100% of the time by top level Reins, and Shield Slam with the Bash is taken nearly 100% of the time. I'm surprised the community is voting for Ignited Fury. This is probably more fun in solo queue, but I don't think I've seen a single Reinhardt in higher elo not take Shield Slam because the mobility is too good to pass up. Again, Rein is already a situationally harder hero to play. He's good. He's fine now. But like in super high ranks, if they kite him around, like having Shield Slam to move you around and like close gaps is way more valuable. Way more valuable now. I would take this. If you're looking to continue to play and improve at Rein and try to make him work in situations where he's not working, you should take the mobility. Roadhog. Scrap Hook is good if you're not counting your ammo, but this is a bit of a greedier one. Shrapnel Launcher. I think I saw Six take this one for funsies, and he was just one-shotting people in our 6v6 game. This Titan spread can randomly just doink people, especially if you have good ammo management and you're not spamming nonstop with your stuff. Honestly, it could be bumped up a little bit for sure. Now for the major perk, Hydrogen Exposure is a good team major perk. This one's a more greedy one if you're solo off angling, where if you whiff your hook, or if you like go for the hooks and you know that 3 of them are going to turn on you, you could definitely take pulled pork, but this is a good team one. Sigma. I think Hyper Regeneration's a 100% of the pick still, despite the nerf from like 50, 40, 30%, whatever, damage restoring experimental barrier. Similar to how I mentioned with D.Mon, with like the shield regeneration, I think that's too good to pass up. So I think this is a 100% take, I think. And for the major perk, Levitation is a 90% take for me, 95%. I can't even remember the last time I took Hyper Strike. The fact this is 54% says something. You should be taking Levitation for the mobility. Some people are like, what's the point of this? The point of Levitation is not only to get into better positions, but it gives you crazy angles to shoot people. Like if they're like hiding around a corner, you just float a little bit to the left, and because your primaries have splash, like Levitation's too good. This is a crazy good perk. Take this one. Okay, Winston. Heavy Landing going down to 19%. I think on release all the pros took this one, but now they are taking Electric Charge, which is quite good as well. I think if you're an average Winston, I think Electric Charge is a nice safe one. If you've got some crazy good juggles, like you are literally the next pro Winston, you can definitely greed for Heavy Landing. Major perk, Chain Lightning being 18% is crazy to me. I've started playing some Winston in some of these viewer games. Not that I play them regularly, but some Winston players can probably chime in. There's no way it's 80% Revitalizing Barrier. Now, this is a safe option, but I think if you're a very good proactive Winston, and they literally are always not like fully split. If there's any two heroes that sometimes play a bit clumped, you're playing into a tank matchup that plays a bit more like front to back, like a Ramattra brawly stuff, you should take Chain Lightning. Chain Lightning is insanely good. It obviously marks them with the healing reduction. It pressures them into forcing the other person to heal them a little bit. And it also builds ult charge. Now, Revitalizing Barrier does give ult charge for healing your teammates as well. So don't get that twisted. This is still very good. But I think Chain Lightning is extremely slept on, especially for being voted 18%. This is probably closer to 40-60 now. I've seen a ton more Winstons play. Honestly, it might even be 50-50 in higher elos, to be honest with you. Wrecking Ball. Multi-ball with extra mines is a popular one for sure, but I think majority of higher elo players do take Steamroller just for some insight. Dealing more damage to tanks is too good to pass up because the mines already do their job if you already get some good spread mines anyways. So I feel like they don't really find value in the extra set of mines for zoning, and they'll find more value where you're constantly rolling and booping into tanks. Especially certain tanks that aren't like super annoying, like a Roadhog. You're constantly rolling through them. More damage, a little bit more ult charge as well. 65-35 sounds pretty reasonable, but it's definitely more like 70-30 the higher you go for Steamroller over Multi-Ball. Now for the major perk, the fact that 25% of people are taking hang time, this is so bait. Adaptive Barrier 100% of the time. There's some heroes that have a disproportionate power spike with major perks. It's Wrecking Ball and Doomfist powers, what's it called? The Doomfist Power Matrix. These are like too strong relative to everybody else's roster's major perks. Adaptive Barrier literally nulls one of his biggest weaknesses by giving a flat barrier to selectively block stuff. It is too good to pass up. It makes his weakness not really a weakness anymore. This Adaptive Barrier and Power Matrix, too good. Never take hang time. This is bait. Longer windup means more time for them to get away as well. Easier to sleep. This is just bait. 100% Adaptive Barrier. Oh my god, jump ups is only 20% over spotter. Guys, jump up is 80% and 20% if you really need like if you're really playing for like a Genji or a Reaper combo. Jump ups is so good. If any of you guys were watching World Cup yesterday, we saw the jump ups. Did you see that Zarya jump onto the Ana? I forgot who played it, but like there was an Ana on a certain area. All the Zarya does is just one jump up and then just go chase them down, and it was just too good for positioning. Again, similar to how like Adaptive Barrier, you know, rectifies one of Wrecking Ball's weakness. Mobility is one of Zarya's weakness because her beam range is only 20 meters. Jump ups can like give you the high ground leverage that you need. And it's on a minor perk too. Like jump ups is so freaking good. They're getting on high ground on Pariso. Again, a little map specific, but on the maps that you would generally play Zarya, a bit more flat maps where the high ground is not like stupidly high that you can't reach anyways with jump up. Like that's the times you would play Zarya. On maps that have like super high ground, then like you don't even play her in overall. But jump ups will make the maps that she's good at even better. Spotter, nah. If like the health regeneration is activated, if it's like, okay, maybe on a Reaper, like I said, but like they may not even need the health regen, especially if they're like initiating already at full health. I just think jump ups is too good to pass up. And then the 10 to 20% of the time you take spotter, specifically if you're in voice comms with a teammate who needs it. And then extra oomph is a 100% take. They need to fix energy lance. This is so bait. Piercing enemies. There's almost nobody that's always perfectly in piercing alignment. This is 100% and then 80-20. We got to rework energy lance. Okay, let's move on. Anran. You know, I've played a lot of Anran lately. Like a lot. She's one of my main DPSs. As much as Smolder looks really good on paper, it's the fact that if they're burning, I'm already refreshing the burn constantly, that the extra 1.5 seconds longer is not like on a per burn basis. It's like if I like hit them and then I leave to disengage. I'm usually doing enough damage where they're dying pretty much right after my last burst shot, and then the time that they're burning afterwards is not enough to justify Smolder these days. I've been taking Heat Shield way more, and I think this one is better than people give credit for. Smolder is just a bit more bait. This ain't Infernus, where like the extra 1.5 seconds is like a disproportionate amount of damage once they leave. I actually think Heat Shield's pretty damn good. So I would actually I started taking this 70% of the time, and then Smolder if I'm feeling like I need to finish people off around the corner. It's literally the last hit you apply. Again, so, okay, and then the major perk, I actually do take Hungering Blaze for the sustain. So Heat Shield and Hungering Blaze and Sustain to be way more greedy if I initiate into the backline. If they are specifically playing very clumpy, then I could argue Short Fuse, but I'm taking Hungering Blaze maybe 80% of the time now. 80-20. Okay, Ashe, Remote Detonators 100% take still for me. Viper Sting still 100% take for me. I don't even touch the other ones. Even though it's 25 extra damage, that changes. That's a break point to kill people. 150 plus 75 body. One headshot body shot will kill with the extra 25 for the 250 HP heroes, which is too strong, too good to pass up. What do we have here? Bastion. Smart Bomb is good if you're solo queue Bastion, but if you play with a cat, you should just take the configuration reload. This is the one where you can nade, swap forms, nade again, really good. Self-repair is safe, although Lindholm explosive is taken quite a bit more than 27%, I would say. Really good if you have the team comp built around you to sustain you up and keep you alive. Lindholm explosives is really chunky if you get the cat angle, but without it, you could definitely take self-repair. New perk for Cassidy is the Giddy Up. I still think Bang Bang is too good. People are probably experimenting 66 and 34% here. The speed boost, like what do you really need that for? It's only 1.5 seconds. How big is the speed boost? I've seen it. It's not even like fast enough to justify it. Like if I roll and like, do I really need the speed to wrap the corner or get out of the way? I don't know. I think Bang Bang is too good. So I would probably still take this 95% of the time. Silver Bullet, really popular. But that being said, I think they nerfed this a bunch of times. I don't actually think it's a 9% take for rolling up roundup. I say this in every perk video. Probably 20% of the time, you could still argue to take this over Silver Bullet because you want to keep the fan the hammer. So, Silver Bullet's fun, but sometimes you really need the fan the hammer to break like a Winston bubble. I always mention this. It's Winston bubble. That's like your biggest culprit. Even a Sigma shield. A Sigma like playing kind of close to you, just a quick fan the hammer is 300 instant damage to that thing. Obviously, there's the argument that you should be playing on such an angle where you're silver bulleting someone else, but in the case where like you need to blow up the shield or someone in your face, rolling up roundup is good to keep you sustained and to keep the fan the hammer. It's less about the perk healing you and more about keeping fan the hammer, which is why it's funny. Okay, Echo got a couple of perk changes. Partial scan versus aerial munitions having infinite ammo during flight, only taken 10% of the time. I'm not an Echo player, but like I do think having infinite ammo during flight is a bit gimmicky because when you are flying, you're pretty much full reloaded, and if you're full ammo, you never even expend all your ammo anyways, especially if you're weaving in your sticky bombs plus like transforming sometimes or even throwing out your beam. The infinite ammo is a bit bait. Partial scan is a bit more like team fight impactful. So I see that. Full salvo got nerfed so much that now focusing beam getting the range increase. 61%. This probably sounds accurate on paper, especially with all the nerfs as full salvo. I do think we could take the beam range now 8 meters and more movement speed to finish them off. You don't have to get as close right now, which is, yeah, solid. Emre, suppressive, whatever that thing is, that perk is called, did get buffed. I think instead of 1 second slow, it's a 1.5 second slow. But I think the ultimate's already good enough. You don't need it. Enhanced agility just allows you to move around the map more, so I think it's fine. I really don't think either of these minor perks are that powerful that you could just take either and you're good to go. Despite all the nerfs to heat sink, still a popular one for a better sustain. You're just not as sustainy as you used to be on release, but it's still good. I hate the sticky nades, even though it's more chunkier. The bounce grenade gives you better angles, and the timing seems a bit easier for me. Okay, Freja, Relentless Barrage only 58%. I think now that Freya is popular again, I think everybody is taking Relentless Barrage still. I think it's like 90%, 80% maybe. I'm just spitballing some items. I think because her take aim is still really good, but I do think like being able to spam in between that right now, constant pressure is too good to pass up. I think Relentless Barrage is a better take than the quick dash distance. Like the extra distance can even throw you off. You're still in the air, and like if you're dodging to the side, you're not really using it for the distance, you're using it for the quick reload more so than anything. So I think Relentless Barrage is the must take here. Arab Cash is a big hater of aerial recovery, and honestly, now that I played it a few times, I think Rising Winds having a full extra charge, it should be the 90%, 90-10. Aerial recovery, even though it's 30 health per second till you touch the ground, over the course of the game, we did look at the numbers. I played a full game of aerial recovery while I'm in the air taking some shit damage. I literally healed like almost 100 by the end of the game. That is nothing. It does not heal as much as you think. And if you're ever in danger, you take some chip damage anyways. Like you literally should not be hovering in the air anymore because you're going to continue getting shot. You just let go and you fall to the ground and get into cover, wait for some reloads and stuff anyways. So this one's bait. I think you take the extra updraft charge so you can get back into the action, especially if you get like jumped by somebody or like, you know, you get healed really quickly by a support. Now you're back in the action without having to waste another one. I agree. This should be a 90-10 now. I'm done with aerial recovery. Genji. I think every Genji I've seen is taking Dragon's Thirst right now, especially with no nano blade combo. This gives them the sustain so you're not instantly blown up when you go for the blade. Blade twisting is the really popular one too. Sure, meditation is good sustain, but maybe you take this into like a Moira matchup or a Genji or like a Zarya, but like blade twisting is if you're not supposed to be like 1v1ing those heroes in front of them as you know, as best as possible. Genji's an opportunist. You take advantageous fights where you should probably not be face checking or face tanking stuff that can go through your deflect anyways. Okay, Sonic Disruption hacking is actually taken. I would say this is like a 90% take now. Controlling a health pack nonstop is actually pretty good, especially on maps on control where the mega health pack is extremely powerful. Dude, Hanzo on Route 66 is like absolute demon mode. Controlling that health pack underneath like the gas station for first point and second point is much better than a little bit of attack speed for your next shot. Like who cares, right? For the next, a lot of times when you pull, You get attack speed, then you hold your bow, and then what's the point of the attack speed if your next shot isn't coming out right away? You still gotta look for a target. So I think Sonic Disruption is a must take. I actually got owned by a Frost Arrow kind of recently, but I do think more people are taking the Scatter. The slow is a little bit of a bait. Scatter arrows, you know, they can split a little bit if they end up like you just RNG a random kill. But I will say like Hanzo's perks are a little cosmetic sometimes. It feels like both of these are not that impactful for major perks. Junkrat, Nitro Boost is taken a lot despite the tires damage going from 600 to 300 because they're not actually going for the tanks to blow up. They go for the squishy. So 300 damage tire with the speed, so there's a lower chance of it dying. If you mess up, it sucks that they live, but like Nitro Boost is taken more often than not. More people are taking Frag Cannon with the projectile speed. That makes sense. If you're gonna eliminate someone with the Conch Mine, you don't need the extra charge. You already eliminated the threat on the off angle, and you're chilling for a bit. Just having overall consistent Frag Cannon, once you get used to it, seems pretty good. Okay, Mei. Glacial Propulsion, I think you should take this 100% of the time. This gives her mobility, and that small ice pillar that she creates acts as a blocker. You know what's crazy is like if you could actually like jump up, create that little ice pillar, and that ice pillar could block a bullet or take a bullet for somebody. But it gives her the mobility. And again, Mei's weakness is mobility, of course, and catching up to people and chasing people if they're not within range. This is 100% take. I think Skating Rink is so bait. If you already get a good blizzard off into the enemy, who cares about the move speed and health? If they're frozen, everyone's gone, just go kill them anyways. You can get pinned against the pillar. That's a combo, by the way. Like your Rein is like doing some weird shit where he's pinning somebody back into your team and you're like a Mei, you're like, what's up? And then you just, woohoo! You just Mario jump in front of your Reinhardt as they bring a target back to you and you create the wall for them so they can collide. Isn't that kind of fun? That's like some TikTok play. Okay, then we got a major perk, Deep Freeze. So you get the full stun onto people. Could be good to cancel some certain abilities on really tight chokes like Dorado first bridge underneath, I could think. Could be really nice. That being said, I think a lot of people I see take Cryostorm. Because at least a lot of the good players don't sit there and get wailed on by the Mei. They know to try to avoid this as best as possible. So like if you chase the Mei, then you greed onto her, doing the AoE storm around them for 70 damage per second. Per second, by the way, that's a lot. You have to leave it. It's hard to full freeze people like in Overwatch 1 unless they're noobs. So like this is not 70 total damage. How long can you sit in cryo freeze? Like 4 seconds? This is 280 damage. If you do not leave, you will die. Okay, Pharah. They had to nerf Concussive Force a little bit, but like this gives you the burst onto certain heroes. Though that being said, I do think if you take this with Rocket Salvo for the extra spiral plus the 30 explosion, you can one-shot certain heroes. And I say one-shot loosely. One-shot burst combo, like as quick as possible. Helix Shields if you're not getting any resources, but I think you should play Pharah with the right comp, like with a Wu Yang or a Zen, or a Brig or Mizu or a Mercy, someone who can reliably heal you. Like if you have a Baptiste on your team, like or a Moira as your support, and like a Lucio, it's like who's healing you as a Pharah? Then maybe you have to take Helix Shields. But Concussive Force seems to be the good one, along with Rocket Salvo for more damage. We got to speed through this. Okay, Reaper, Lingering Wraith, movement speed at the end of that makes sense. And then Trigger Finger. This one is honestly, 100% take. I think Dire Triggers was a great addition into the base kit. Arguably made them too strong. The fact that you get it back after you Wraith or after you Shadow Step after firing it, I think you take this all the time. These ones, yeah, this seems an okay distribution. 30-70 for Soul Reaving and Linger Wraith. Shion, Ex Machina. I did take this 90% of the time and Rapid Reload 10% of the time. But in more recent times, in certain matchups, I have experimented with Rapid Reload a bit, especially after they nerfed Ex Machina a little bit, where like I think the overall spread was a bit wider now. I've tried this a bit. I still take Ex Machina, maybe 80-20. And I think I've only taken Rapid Reload into Roadhog. And you do see a lot of Roadhog, so that's why it feels like I'm taking it more often. The reason why is because if I'm shooting this Roadhog and he takes one look at me, I am timing my evade to dodge him as soon as he hooks, right? Like I don't burn the hook, the evade randomly. I'm shooting Hog, he looks at me. As soon as I see the animation, I dash, and now I don't have to reload. I'm full ammo again. I'm just wailing on him, and then he's forced to take a breather and leave. And that's why that matchup, I take this specifically. Okay, and then the major frick, Faces of Death, still the common greedy one. I actually experimented with the refuel a lot on Shion's release. I actually still like this perk a lot, personally. I actually take this 50-50. Faces of Death, again, greedy one. Good for, snowballing for sure, but maybe it's because, like, I have trust issues when I play DPS. I get it now. I had a DPS arc last season playing a lot of Shion, and, like, just being able to, like, joyride and heal myself to full felt, like, really nice. Okay, we have Sierra now. Tight grip for the DPS. The anchor drone is like already buffed so much. Like you already have so much range, you don't need it. Tight grip is good. Nobody takes medi drone. You always take locked in. This med kit is bait. Nobody else can take it. If you're getting into a spot where you're constantly being pressured, like the medi drone's not going to do much for you. This one is I think too good to pass up. Although that being said, it got nerfed where you have to hit them and you don't get the attack speed anyways if you just miss nowadays. So maybe there is more merit to taking Medidrone now, and people are just like the recency bias. They haven't like figured out that maybe Medidrone is a bit better indirectly because locked in is not as strong before. Sojourn, the fact that everybody still takes deceleration field because they don't trust themselves. I think you should, if you're trying to improve a Sojourn, I think you should still like take this to like have more impact. The only way to get better and feel more confident with the timing with more overclock is to take this. But like the damage you get with the extra 50% is insane, especially if you get nano OC. It's such a very common combo to go for because like it just, you don't have to headshot. A nanoed 150 charge overclock to the body. Somebody do the math for me. I swear Soj players said go deceleration field now that they buffed the projectile speed for disruptor shot. I just think this is too impactful to not take. It makes this ends now actually be so, you have to respect this like crazy now. And then dual thrusters is a 100% take. There's no way it's 75. Mobility is key to survive, get better angles. I take this 100. I still take overcharge 100% of the time. Okay, soldier. I take helix propulsions 100% of the time. I don't take tactical salvo at all. You don't need the spam helix rockets. Everybody kind of runs away and gets zoned out anyways. Because the faster projectile speed helps you like deal with like tracers, or even you can even hit helixes on the pharaohs and the echoes in the air and the cats. Because cat is everywhere. This is actually really nice to be more consistent for the faster speed. Stimpack I 100% take. I don't need the extra move speed. The old perk was like reloading while sprinting. That's in the base kit now. So Stimpack is just so good for the attack speed and the health per second to off angle and stuff. 100% for me here. Sombra I've not touched at all, so I'll just take the word for control alt escape. Getting regen, sure. And then what is this? Viral replication? Sure, I guess for this. Symmetra. Photon range, getting extra range. Yes, okay. I think we take that for sure. Unless you're playing full defense sim where you know you can't chase people with the beam and you're just setting up 4 turrets. I don't play sim, so like I don't have good insight on this, and this is why I maybe implore some of the sim mains. If you're a sim main and you have like a differing opinion, or like if you're any of these hero mains and you have a differing opinion to the majority community choice, drop your rank and your reasoning on the perks. More so for a discussion, not saying you're absolutely right or the community is right? Okay, and then we have the major perks, hovering barrier versus shield battery. I mean, if you're playing for your own, like, I just want to talk about sim in the pro level. I think Symmetra is so fun to watch. There's so much skill expression with team usage on these teleporters to engage, disengage, take angles, posture up people, force people out of spots. Solo queue Symmetra is always a different story. Never in voice chat and will just play for themselves. And some arguably it works. Like Symmetra can be successful in there by its own merit, by being a solo queue sim and doing your own thing. And that's why shield battery could be really useful there to constantly be doing that. But that was just the point I wanted to get across. I think Symmetra is so fun to watch at the highest level for sure. But if you're a selfish sim, I mean, these perks make sense. Torbjorn, preheated. Yeah, Molten Core will activate your overload. So even if it's on cooldown, you activate it again. That's pretty nice. Okay, and then we have Anchor Bolts versus Overloaded. Actually, I think people have stopped taking as much Anchor Bolts. On release, getting the crazy angles has been good for the Anchor Bolts. Still really good, but I think like Overloaded turret, like old Overwatch 1, extra turret, if it's already firing at people and then they think they're trying to break it and then you pop this right away for the Giga turret, can be kind of corny. It's a little underrated. This is a scary overtime turret, I agree. Tracer, got a new change now where the passive health regen triggers 50% faster. I think people are experimenting with this with 52%, but I still think at the highest level, you take the extra ammo because your whole point of Tracer is to full eliminate enemies, and having that extra ammo to one clip squishies is too valuable to pass up. The passive health regen triggering at 2.5 seconds instead of 5 seconds. While it's quite nice, good tracers have all, or the best tracers have all the health packs memorized. Trust their supports that they don't need this. They go for the greed, which I agree with. And I think for the majors, it's quantum entanglement nearly 100% of the time here too. Yeah, with good melees, you never have to reload. You melee once, melee twice, then finish them off. Vendetta. Wow, Raging Storm has taken the storm at 68%. I still think you take extra edge on the higher levels simply because poking them can start building your passive stacks. So costing less energy means you can throw more projectiles. More projectiles hitting means you build up your onslaught passive. The extra spin is a little bait sometimes for extra 30 damage. The extra timing is everything. Remember how Pharah got memed on early on for being Rocket Barrage, or Cassidy's High Noon was like the press Q to die button because you sit still for so long. The longer you hold it, even though powerful stuff is coming out of you, High Noon or Barrage, the longer you sit still, the easier it is to die. So the longer you spin here for only 30 damage ends up being an interesting trade-off where I think you should take extra edge like 90% of the time. It's better to just get close to them with the whirlwind and then just start slashing away, which makes up for the 30 damage instead of letting the spin continue. That's a good point, Wolf. Like why continue to let the spin do 30 damage when you just spin, close the gap and just start swinging? The first swing is already going to do more. And this gives you poke before you full engage. Siphoning Strike being 40% lifesteal. I mean, that makes sense. The sustain is really good now. I do agree with this one. Relentless is greedy, but I think if you're nonstop like going in and like being able to just randomly chunky heal every time you 1, 2, 3, that's good. Venture, I think they just buffed Deep Burrow a lot. This is really long right now, this drill dash distance. I can't say I've seen any Ventures since the patch, but I mean, I did the side-by-side comparison to the old one. This is really fucking long with the Deep Burrow now. Could be underrated, but this is a great ultimate minor perk for sure. Having constant cooldowns being ready makes your Tectonic Shock super strong. Similar, not the same power level as like, you know, Sojourn's Overclock perk, but this is really good. A lot of pros take this in recent memory for sure. A Smart Extender still seems like the must pick for the extra range to poke. As much as Clobber gives you extra resolve shield, you're capped. Your shield is capped at 75 extra health if I'm not mistaken. So even if it's 40 extra explore resolve shields, it's like 2 of them will already like cap you out regardless. So I think if they removed the cap or at least increased the max shield cap, then maybe more people could take covered in dirt despite the update. But until then, Smart Extender seems to be the better choice, at least on paper. I'm okay to be wrong though if someone wants to. I'm actually me in the comments. We have Widowmaker here. Scope deficiency, sure. Scope shots charge faster. If you're looking for clips, you should take Sniper's Instinct, but like in general, scope deficiency is probably fine. And then the major perks, everyone just takes Widow Bite for the chance of piercing. Everybody thinks the Venom Mines are a little bait. We have our supports. Okay, Speed Serum. I take this 100% of the time. I don't even take Groggy anymore. I don't touch it. I don't care if you have 2 seconds of slow on Ball or Doom. I used to take it on Ball and Doom, but now they have Power Matrix and Ball Adaptive Shield. Like, what's the point of Groggy? You don't need Groggy for the extra damage to one-shot them because of Headhunter. Because Headhunter exists, you can just walk up to the person you slept and deal double damage into nade, and that's fine. Before, to hit certain kill break points, if you sleep them for the 50 damage, then you know, normal shot into nade into melee for certain break points. But obviously, it's fine if you know, don't think you're gonna get to a major perk level for the game. But I still take Speed Serum. It's just so good because it gives her own movement speed. Sometimes you just nano somebody so you can move. And then Biotic Bounce, I know it got buffed because everyone was taking Headhunter, but I think the potential of this is too strong. Baptiste, don't take Expanded Field. This shit's bait. Trust me, I'm a Bat player. Take Assault Burst 100% of the time. Immortality Field Radius, don't need it. Value comes from it when you instantly put it down, and it gets destroyed a lot too. So just take Assault Burst. It's just better overall because attack speed works for both your gun and the damage shots and the healing. For the major perk, wow, automated healing at 74%. I would say this is a 20-80 for me. I take Rocket Boots 80% of the time now. There's too many matchups for Baptiste where that extra horizontal dash saves you. A lot of people who suck you in, like Orisa ult, you can get out. Sigma ult, you can get out. Staying in the air to get out of Mei ult. Any circle ultimate, this just saves your ass. But that being said, I think I played an overtime round of Baptiste, and like so what I do actually, a small tip for Bap, I can yap about supports a bit more, is I actually will take Assault Burst. If I'm playing Bap on overtime where you get to choose your perks right on the round start, I don't pick my major until I see what the enemy team is running. If I see my team picked up like an Echo Tracer and the enemy team has nothing where I need they're a front to back comp where they're not going to be able to jump me, I can greed for automated healing, especially in an overtime round. Brig got changed a little bit, if I'm not mistaken. Melee can reduce health pack by 0. In specific matchups, sure. 20-80 seems about right. If you're brawling nonstop, okay, we can take that. Morale boost, having Inspire last a lot longer is really good though. But yeah, this is a niche scenario, but at least it has some choice there, agreed. And then we have Inspiring Strike versus Whiplash. It's too conditional. A lot of times Brig is just peeling. You're not like an Orisa where you're just like chunking your spears, and if it happens to hit someone into the wall, they get the bonus damage. As lethal as this is, it's so rare It doesn't happen enough where the slam into the wall means enough, or it happens consistently enough, versus shield bash always giving you movement speed for mobility and instantly getting healing when you bash into the Tracer or the Genji or anybody jumping your backline. So I take Inspiring Strike all the time. It's like 100, almost like a 99% take here. Illari, Summer Solstice, this is 100% take. It's less about the attack speed, it's more about the perma flight. You can just pop your ultimate and just hover in the air, or just fire it and then you're in the air taking crazy angles. They're zoned out because you're threatening your ultimate and you're always like flying over stuff and like threatening them with this. This is a perfect take, 100% take, excuse me. Solar Flare, unfortunately, is just not good enough to outpace the extra burst damage from Sunburn, and especially because we have all these Anrans and Maugas running around, even igniting people can just be really corny and cheesy. Okay, Jetpack Cat. Transport shielding being 7% of the time makes sense simply because, you know, not everybody's playing Bastion Jetpack Cat in solo queue. Ulterior motive is great for the mobility, a great general choice, but specifically if you are playing in a team comp with calming somebody and you are carrying the cast and you're carrying the Bastion and you are coordinated, you should take transport healing. But until then, if you're just solo queuing Cat and playing Cat, just take ulterior motive. It's safer and you're already so mobile enough that maybe you don't even need the extra shield health while carrying the hero. Major perks. Change to Cat here. Each pulse of per contains 3 waves versus claws out. In solo queue, I still think claws out could be good if you know they're isolated people to assassinate. But this per, while it's good on paper, it's not as much as you think because the overall healing went from 300 to 360 only. The pulse, I'm not like the way per works is a little strange. The extra pulses, it looks like, oh my God, 3 extra waves, that's a lot. It just like makes the beginning of the healing do a lot more, but then over the course of time, it like levels out quite a bit. The proportional difference from 300 to 360 is not that much, but it does like the instant 3 waves to do like 90 healing, while the first part is only like 30 healing if you compare with and without the perk off the start. And it also per is like really good to AoE heal your team. If you see a lot of good cats, they actually get a lot of healing on the team because they don't use it greedily for themselves. You fly back into your team as you're pulsing and you actually end up healing a shit ton. So I guess maybe in like 6v6 you can argue this for more people to clump heal when you need it, build your ultimate a little bit faster. She does do a lot more than people give her credit for is what I'll say, versus being a pure DPS claws out. Really depends on your playstyle. I actually think both of these perks are good for your playstyle. Juno, you do not need familiar vitals anymore. It is locked on 100% of the time now, guys. They buffed Juno where like the close allies will lock on so freaking fast now. You literally just have to tap it and it'll insta lock onto somebody now. You do not even need familiar vitals at all. You just take this for the chance of having a shorter cooldown, especially if you hit enemies. You just take locked on all the time. Lift off, because like the torpedoes have now been buffed really nice. Like the extra triple jump is just so good. I take this 90% of the time. There is actually a 10% world where I take faster blaster though. I've taken it on overtime, defense. It's a map where like I don't even need the high angle and I can reach anywhere where I need to, and I gamble on the faster blaster to hard pocket someone, because there is a lot of people arguing, or the Juno discourse is that this does nothing, but that's just not true as well. Firing continuously is like a 30 to 40% increase in its raw DPS / healing power, and especially since they nerfed the healing reduction global passive from 30% to 15%. There is merit to it in like specific niche cases in overtime rounds, but like I would probably only ever take faster blaster in that specific scenario. It's overtime and I need it there over it. Okay, Kiriko, 2575 for Urgent Fortune. I play a lot of Kiri. Every pro will take Fortune Teller, but I really am a firm believer you don't perma take Fortune Teller. I'm a firm believer that you only take Fortune Teller if they have someone you can spam at, a tank you can spam at. Like the 2 examples that you can't spam, like one example, easy one, Sigma. It is so hard to constantly shoot a Sigma, even Domina. It's really annoying to constantly hit kunais, especially if you're like front to backing for a little bit. If you're like playing on an off angle and like trying to kill somebody, like a squishy, like a flanking Kiri, then the Fortune Teller also does nothing because the Ofuda will only fly to any allies in front of you. If you're off angling, there's no one in front of you anyways. So I would take Urgent Care in the Sigma matchup, and who else is a tank that I can't? And Reinhardt matchup, for example. Simply because I'm just healing somebody, seeking them a bit faster, also heals you faster because you're a medic sub role. If they seek low health allies faster, you self-heal faster as a byproduct of that. Fortune Teller is fantastic though if you're constantly weaving your kunais in and healing into non-shield tanks. Mauga, Roadhog, Orisa, which are very common heroes. So it will happen, don't get me wrong. Yeah, so please be wary of that. I do take Foxtrot 100% of the time. There is a world where Urgent Care and Ready Step is a bit of a cheesy bit of a take. I know Umari in the chat is a big believer of this. I've tried it a few times, but I just think Foxtrot being a 4-second movement speed is just so nice. After the Suzu happens, you can re-engage with the speed, or if I Suzu my team when I get out, I can wrap a corner around cover. Nice and easy here. Life Weaver, we're almost done here. We have Petal Protection, allies heal 20 health per second on the platform versus Dashing Escape. Again, I don't play any Weaver, I want to be honest with you. I'm just going to take your word for Dashing Escape being better and Super Bloom being better as well. That being said, I have seen some sow the seeds, especially maybe this is the same case as where Super Bloom isn't reliable to do enough damage. Like they are playing the Sigma or the Reinhardt where it's almost impossible to detonate the full damage that they'll just take the seed. Like as a good Weaver, you should be weaving in your Thorns where as possible to pressure like the Rein Shield and the Sig Shield, but if you can't pop it reliably, then maybe you just take Sow the Seed. But that's why it's a 2278 distribution. Maybe. Lucio. What's it called? Soundwave Rider empowering the boop. The threat of that boop knocking people off. I think almost every Lucio takes this one. When people are dropping the beat, I guess if you amp and then drop the beat, you get another free amp, but sometimes the beat just comes out when you just need it and you can't sequence that perfectly. So just having like a good, stronger boop pretty reliably almost every time, because you wall ride a lot, I think this is a perma take. And then I think for the major perks, what do we have? Crossfade range, just being able to AoE them. Okay, sure, we'll take that. I don't play any Lucio, by the way. Okay, Mercy, Winged Reach feels like 100% take. I don't know why you would take the extra overhealth. If you're going for a res where there's already a big threat to die, you shouldn't have done that res in the first place. I think just having better range is always better for this. I don't think you take Angelic Resurrection. This would probably give you bad habits to get some greedy reses, where then you just lose overall mobility on the hero. Wow, chain boost being 5, dude, 65. This has to be bait. Again, I don't play any Mercy, but isn't double dose just way better? An additional meaningful double burst of healing, even though the base healing overall is reduced by 10, but having big chunky heals when it matters has to be way better than an extra 5% damage boost from 25 to 30. Does that change any breakpoints? Maybe. The linking to second nearby ally is bait, because you're usually off angling with a single DPS. There's no way it links to a second person reliably the higher you get. Mercy is an extremely popular hero. Your average person is voting on this website. I think double dose has to be better. I find this very hard to believe. Mizuki. I have seen some people start taking Wellspring a little bit more because, yes, if you're active as Mizu, you should always be pretty much full aura, but it's not permanent. You're going to be down to, instead of a 2.5 to 3 multiplier. If you can keep up with the 4x multiplier all the time, there is a world where you get your Kekai Sanctuary a little bit faster because of that. And then, you know, Kekai got buffed where like it blocks projectiles in and out, so that's why a lot of people take that. But that being said, Exposed Soul, so good if there's any squishy you can chain. It helps you reliably do more damage to them. Your next shot into a melee, your melee gets boosted as well, by the way. All damage dealt, including your primary and your melee, to just solo kill a person. Or even if you root a ball or a doom, just like extra damage onto them. That extra damage is extra ult charge that could be offset by the AoE healing you would have gotten with Wellspring. So I personally still take Exposed Soul. And then we have Resonant Return versus Quick Step. Resonant Return, I always take this in 6v6. I do play 6v6 quite a bit, but I love Katashiro because they buffed Katashiro Return a lot in the recent seasons where the cooldown is shorter. I think they just nerfed it again because it was too good. The AoE move, the speed boost and everything to get your team in is really good in 5v5. So I think Quick Step is better here. A good constant value. But 6v6, I will take the extra bounce though, because that extra bounce is a lot of extra healing for getting your Kekai Sanctuary faster. Moira, don't take Destruction's Divide. That's bait. Ethical Nourishment is really nice, dude. Moiras are like running havoc, wreaking havoc right now. They buffed her like a season or 2 seasons ago where like the orb does like more because they never changed it since the season 9 February 2023 or 2024 patch. She heals so much. She does so much right now. I think Moira is a little bit slept on right now ever since they made that buff. And for the major perk, the extra fade. Yeah, you don't need the reversal. This is bait. Just take Ethical and Phantom Step every time. And then finally, the last 2 perks, the Overflow versus Balance. debate. I'm still a big believer of overflow. Balance has been, I explained this in every video, maybe I'll do it one final time. Not one final time, because new people watch these videos all the time if they ever make it here. Again, balance used to be the perma pick. I think overflow is really good. Yes, it's tied to rushing torrent. It doesn't mean you have to use rushing torrent to like instantly get the ammo back, but the healing resource to hard pocket somebody, especially after you wave them. Balance got nerfed because the passive heal got nerfed like 3 seasons ago. The math, like do the math. It's like 3 or 4 extra healing every time you hit a water orb. It's 30. It's a big negligible amount because they shifted the pass. It's a passive stream only. They shifted passive stream by 10. They lowered the passive stream from 30 to like 20 HP per second, and they put the active stream from 40 to 50. So because the active beam is basically Mercy's beam, and people know how annoying it is to deal with a Mercy pocket. And if you wave them, if you hit them with a wave and you're beaming them, that is stronger than a Mercy pocket temporarily. It's really good. Like dueling someone, then Wu Yang just holds the, you don't have to hold the beam on them for that long. They're just suddenly just shooting their HP up, and then you fire your orb after to help them with the duel. It's really good. Falling Rain, 75, Ebb and Flow is picking up speed again. They buffed Ebb and Flow last season to do 100% healing back, and this season they changed the degree of the wave from 10 to 14. So this is a fat wide wave now. I experimented with Ebb and Flow in 6v6 when I was playing a front to back comp. I would still take Falling Rain 90% of the time, but there was that one time I tried it for a little bit. I think Ebb and Flow is not too bad there. Okay, and then we have this one. The lifesteal got buffed from 10 to 15%, but I still think Ascendance is too good. It's not so much to you know, not get booped off the map, but this hold to hover is the crazy repositioning and crazy peak angles. You charge your orbs, you peek out, fire it, and then back off. I use this on Pariso. This Ascendance, by the way, okay, you guys know Pariso, not the Domina statue. You know when you go up the stairs to the high ground, you can use Ascendance and go full flank there. You're getting chased on defense. Oh, I'm getting shot on those stairs. Fuck it, I'm ascending, and you can go all the way around, and you're safe. And it goes both ways. If you get underneath, you can step over and go across. Then there's a second point on Pariso where you can use this Ascendance and get into that back area, the coast side where the mega health pack is. Really good stuff with Ascendance. And then finally, Focus Destruction versus Dual Harmony. I think a lot of people were Focus Destruction only for a long time. I actually do like Dual Harmony, especially if people complain a lot about less heals playing Zen. I just dropped these onto I actually dropped one on my other support. So now they're constantly upkept, and then the other one on a mobile DPS, and it's like pretty good. I know there's like no point in putting this on a tank. They're just taking too much chunky damage, but like putting this on the other support and one of your DPS is chef's kiss, especially now that I had my DPS arc last season. And I'm like, dude, I don't even care if this is like 30% less effective, this Harmony Orb. If I'm on the off angle with an overclock on Sojourn and there's just a little bit of a Zen Orb on me, that'll just do night and day difference. I actually like this one a lot. And that's it for the perk. A little long, but you know, everything will be timestamped. Thank you for listening, and let's watch OWCS. Bye.